how are you doing? My name is George, aka the Big G, and welcome to my channel. You may recall around 60 days ago, I began the Wim Hof challenge, which includes the breathing, which includes the cold showers, and it also includes somewhat of a mindset shift. If you haven't seen that challenge, I'd fully recommend that you go watch it. I'll leave a little link up here. I'll also put a description in the bio. Once I finished the challenge, however, I didn't keep up with all of the facets of the Wim Hof method, but I have done cold showers every single day for the last 60 days. And I don't think I'll ever go back to having warm showers. So anyway, this video is about 7 things that I've learned, some of them anecdotal based, some of them anecdotal, but also backed by science. If you are new to my channel, if this is the first time that you are experiencing the Big G in all of his glory, then I make videos about health and well-being, about feeling good. Maybe fitness will come into that, maybe healthy eating, a bit more breathwork stuff, meditation, that sort of thing. So if that is something you are interested in, please consider subscribing. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. Number 1 is that cold showers are more difficult when you are not practicing the Wim Hof breathing method. I discovered this anecdotally because obviously the first 10 days when I was doing the breathing method, initially they were obviously a little bit more difficult when I was starting off with the hot water and blasting the cold. But as soon as I got into the swing of things, they became very routine, very comfortable. And obviously at first I hadn't put 2 and 2 together. I hadn't necessarily understood that it was easier because of the breathing method. Over the next 50 days, it became much more obvious that the breathing method was having a profound effect on my ability to stay in the cold water. And this is all to do with the stress response that your body has. This is all to do with the response that your body has to the cold exposure. As you can see from this very trustworthy article, the pain receptors are going to go down after the breathing, which is obviously going to make it easier to adapt to the cold. And this article even suggests doing a mini breathing exercise just before jumping in the shower if you haven't got time for the full one. That being said, whether you are practicing the breathing method or not, the cold exposure, the cold showers are still going to get easier. Of course, there is a ceiling to this. I'm not saying that every single time I go in now, it gets easier and easier. And actually the weather is currently colder than it has been. So for example, this morning was more difficult than it has been over the previous week or 2. Cold exposure, cold showers do get easier, but I think probably after about the 6th or the 7th day, it's not going to get exponentially easier. So don't expect it to, and you wouldn't necessarily want it to either, because I guess the point of the cold showers is to shock your body, is to give you that adrenaline rush. And without that, without it being a little bit uncomfortable, there really wouldn't be any benefits to it anyway. Well, of course, there will be some benefits. However, I just mean in response to waking up in the morning. Additional benefits are going to include producing more anti-inflammatory substances and also lowering your inflammation response to infections, both of which can help to resist illness. When it comes to obviously waking up, however, this is where it gets a little bit more important. So as you can see, research has shown that this is because cold water shocks our nervous system, triggering our body's fight or flight response, which is going to produce an intense adrenaline rush. And one final little tidbit of information here that I thought was interesting is that releasing those adrenal hormones are also going to help to keep you happy. So, as I said, the weather is currently getting colder. It's roughly September here in the UK. I'm sure it might be also September wherever else you're watching this from as well, because that's not how months work. Unless, of course, this video is streaming from out of this world. I'm not sure what capabilities aliens have these days. But yeah, as I say, it is getting colder, which has meant that on occasion over the last 60 days, it's made it much more difficult to get up. And in some instances, I have delayed getting out of bed because I was just dreading that cold shower. Maybe I've, had some breakfast, had a coffee first, whatever it may be. However, I have to say that they are far more powerful and far more influential on your day if you have them as soon as you get up or after some light exercise or even some heavy exercise. Again, this is just because obviously the main point of the cold showers is to have that adrenaline response, have that parasympathetic nervous system response. And obviously if you don't do that as soon as you wake up, then your body's going to naturally wake up anyway. So yeah, have cold showers as soon as you get up in the morning because it's going to shock you into life and it's going to make you ready to start the day instantly. The other time that I would recommend having cold showers is after a hard workout, after maybe just a light workout, anything that really raises your core body temperature. So I would recommend this for 2 reasons. Of course, there are going to be different scientific reasons why this is going to help you compared to obviously cold showers in the morning, and just because obviously it's going to cool your core body temperature down. However, I would recommend doing this if, like me, you are struggling with cold showers. It's something that makes you very nervous. It's something that maybe you can't even bring yourself to do. I definitely recommend doing some heavy exercise, getting your core body temperature right up, and then jumping in the cold shower. And this is going to be a great way to acclimatize to cold showers, to get used to that feeling, because it's not going to be as potent. It's not going to be as sort of shocking to your body, because your body needs to be cooled down anyway. In this sense, it's going to help reduce muscle soreness. And this is due to the cold water having regenerative properties. So essentially, this is going to work by causing an increased circulation of blood through your deeper tissues to return your body temperature to within the ideal parameters. It is worth noting here that cold showers aren't necessarily great for muscle growth. They are great for muscle recovery and, as I said, reducing soreness, but they may actually impair muscle growth and strength gains. If you are a regular gym goer, it might be worth having a little look further into this. It's also going to make it much easier to stay in those cold showers a little bit longer. Now, again, there is a ceiling to this, but the longer you stay in the cold showers, the more benefits you are going to get from the exposure. You know, if you jump into a cold shower for 5 seconds and then you jump out, maybe that wouldn't have given your body a chance to acclimatize. That wouldn't have given you all of the nervous systems, all of the little cells to activate. However, having said that, if you jump in a shower for 10 minutes, you've probably reached the limit of the benefits that you are going to gain. You know, if you stay in then for another extra 20 minutes, extra 30 minutes, you are really needlessly probably putting yourself under stress. You're putting your body under unnecessary stress. And maybe there would be better effects from this. However, it's going to peter out almost entirely, to the point where I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth putting your body under that stress, and I certainly won't be doing that anytime soon. So, as I mentioned earlier, they do actually make getting out of bed harder. I would just like to note I had planned on delivering you number 5 in the cold shower. However, I tried that and I just kept mixing my words and ended up being in the shower for a lot longer than I planned on being. So here's a video of me having a cold shower, obviously not talking, and yeah, I'll do a little voiceover. Or maybe I'm just an incredibly talented ventriloquist, although I don't have a dummy, so I don't know how that's necessarily working. Anyway, as I say, they make getting out of bed harder, but as soon as it is done, as soon as you have done the cold shower, you feel alive, you feel awake. And yeah, I think the main point that I wanted to stress with this one is that quite often I wake up in a foul mood. Not in a foul mood that, say, a grumpy old man would wake up. I don't wake up and instantly curse the world. I don't instantly wake up and want to shit on a child or a baby duckling or whatever it may be. However, I do wake up feeling a little bit grumpy, feeling a little bit sorry for myself. And yeah, instantly the cold shower will shock that out your system. I find myself often getting in a cold shower in a grumpy mood. 45 seconds later, I jump out and I'm dancing a jig in the mirror. So yeah, it's very profound, and I definitely recommend getting in them ASAP in the morning if you are, like me, a grumpy morning person. And I wouldn't necessarily categorize myself as a grumpy morning person anymore, because I found the beauty of cold showers. So, number 6, and we're back where we started. I've not timed this very well because I've got one more to deliver you after this. However, I'll probably just angle it over this way. And yeah, I'll have created a piece of cinematic genius. Anyway, number 6 is that hot showers for me can never be the same now. I tried a hot shower 2 days ago, I think it was, and I came out of it feeling lethargic. I came out of it feeling a little bit sorry for myself. I came out of it also feeling as though I'd wasted my time. Now, some people obviously see showers as their thinking time. Some people see showers as a moment of like complete relaxation. That's never been the case for me. My housemate at uni used to have showers for 15 to 20 minutes, used to drive the rest of us insane. I've never been that sort of person when it comes to showers. For me, a shower is about washing yourself. It's about productivity, I guess, in that you just want it to be as efficient as possible. Get in, get out, clean your bits, do what you got to do, and get on with the day. So in that sense, I think I find now that cold showers are not taking full advantage of how productive a shower can be, which sounds stupid. I understand that. It sounds like everything that I stand against. However, having a cold shower, the way that it impacts me feels far more productive, and therefore having a hot shower makes me feel lethargic, makes me feel guilty. It makes me feel, yeah, it makes me feel terrible. And when I did have that hot shower the other day, I got out feeling like shit. So I basically got back in and had another very quick cold shower, and obviously that instantly turned my mood. And look at that, we are back on the original angle. I'm just gonna put my arm up here so I look intensely creepy. Number 7 is that I am now more weather resistant. Of course, I cannot comment on the cold weather. I would fully expect that cold showers and cold exposure is going to make me better at managing myself in the cold weather. I've definitely noticed on a couple of occasions over the last few weeks that I have been one of the only people walking around town in just my shorts or just a short sleeve t-shirt. However, it hasn't been particularly cold, so I don't think that's something that I necessarily wouldn't have done before cold exposure. What I can comment on though is my exposure to the heat. Now you might be thinking, how can cold exposure make you better at handling the heat? But it's well documented, and one of Wim Hof's records is actually running a marathon through the Sahara, I believe it was. If it wasn't, it was a different desert, without having drunk any water. So he did that entirely without water, and that's because his body is more capable. Again, it's all about the stress response. His body is more capable and his mind is more capable of overcoming these feats. I actually think this is arguably Wim Hof's most impressive record. If I just show you quickly this article by a trusted source known as the Daily Mail. FYI, not my preferred news source, but we'll trust this article. Wim supposedly lost 5.2 litres of water and almost 14 pounds in weight during this run. Of course, he didn't consume any water during this marathon. The reason he was able to do this is exactly the same reason that he's able to stay in the cold. He has complete control over his core body temperature, and he's able to regulate his cardiovascular system. In my own experience, far less impressive than Wim. I used to go to this spa as a child from the age of about 15, 16, slightly younger actually, but only when I was 15, 16 could I go into the adult section, and only then could I access the sauna. So in the sauna, I used to always have to sit on the bottom chair. I realise how stupid this is sounding. I used to always sit on the bottom chair, and even until last year, I've only been able to sit on the bottom shelf without being incredibly uncomfortable. Now there are 3 different layers. I came back from London for the week to stay with my family, and I've been to the health club. I've been to the spa a few times. Obviously, initially when I went in there, I sat on the bottom shelf, and I just felt as though it wasn't anywhere near hot enough for me. Now, of course, there could be some logistical reasons about this. Maybe the spa have decreased the temperature of their saunas. But basically, not only did I sit on the second chair, but I actually sat on the top chair, which is right at the top of the sauna. Now, you may be thinking that that's pathetic and not something to write home about, but I just think it's very interesting. And I believe that has come directly from the cold exposure, from putting my body under that stress. Obviously, in the future, if I do make any more of these videos documenting cold exposure, hopefully I'll have been through the winter and I'll be able to tell you how I am handling the cold weather a little bit better. I'm now just noticing that I've done this whole video with a little bit of toothpaste on my lip. There's a little bit there as well. I think that's a good insight into my personality, into my life. I'm very lackadaisical, we'll say, when it comes to toothpaste being around the mouth. Anyway, there's 7 things that I have found anecdotally from cold showers, from cold exposure. Thank you very much for watching if you've made it this far, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Namaste. Mwah.